Hello everyone. Okay, this isn't the best lighting in the world because it's early in the morning. Apologies for that, but I want to tell you about this book, 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. Oliver Burkeman, there you go. This is a book I actually, when I found out about this book, I'd heard about it and I wanted to read it. And then I was in a bookshop in London and just before New Year's, and my wife said she wanted to read it too. So I went and found it and I bought it for her and then proceeded to read it on the way on the train back home. It's a good enough book that you can read it in one or two sittings. So this was New Year's Eve and I'd finished it by New Year's Day. It's a really, really good book. It's about how long the average lifespan is. So the average lifespan is about 4,000 weeks. And obviously, when you deliver a message, you can say it in many ways, and the way you say it will affect how the message is perceived. So the idea of this book is to make the reader think that life is short, which it is. If you think about a week's, gone in the blink of an eye, you've got 4,000 of them, and 4,000 is not such a big number. So it's a book about the shortness of life, I guess you could call it, which once you get to certain stages in life, and you think, oh man, I'm old or something, middle-aged, or maybe just, when you become an adult, whenever that is, you think, oh, I have to do something in my life. It's the urgency. This book is written by a guy who used to be obsessed with time management. He actually wrote a column on time management. Time management written about from the perspective that if you manage your time better, you'll get more done. The secret, the underlying premise of the time management gurus that he addresses in here, excuse me, is that if you manage your time better, you can have anything you want. Which he was sitting on a park bench somewhere in the States, and he realized, the penny dropped, he realized that that's actually bullshit, and there's a much better way to live your life. To live your life well is the idea of managing your time well. There's a much better way to use your time, manage your time, and live your life. Postman just arrived. Is he going to knock on the door? Doesn't sound like it. That's a relief. We can carry on. So, one of the books that this guy refers to is by Brian Tracy, Master Your Time, Master Your Life. Now, I've read a lot of Brian Tracy over the last 20 years. I thought he was quite good. Reading this book kind of concurred with something that happened with me recently. So I found it very interesting like that. Isn't it nice when you read something that confirms your own thoughts? Although doing only that is confirmation bias, obviously, which will give you an inaccurate idea of the world, which is why it's so easy for things like Google News and YouTube to hook you. I feel like I'm rambling quite a bit, but it is all relevant. So one of the things I did recently, as it's January now, January the 10th is today, I spent, maybe a week thinking about my goals and reviewing my goals from the previous year. Yes, I set goals. And I only came up with 2 goals, because what tended to happen was I'd write down maybe 20 goals, maybe 15, 30 goals, and I'd hit a lot of them, but I'd never actually do the ones that would make the biggest difference to my life. So, already fit and healthy, I get a bit fitter and healthier, a bit stronger, a bit faster, whatever. Doesn't make much of a difference to my life. There are 2 things I really wanted to do. One of them I actually did last year, but I have to repeat it this year. So I only came up with 2 goals as opposed to 20. The 2 goals that matter, their achievement will make a bigger difference to my life than any number of other little goals. That is sort of similar to what's in this book, because the underlying message of this book is managing your time to manage your life is a flawed strategy. It's bullshit. The better you manage your time, i.e. the more you manage to cram in, the nature of things is such that everything will never get done, because you can never do everything regardless of how well you manage your time. And when you're obsessive about managing your time, you actually end up not getting so much done, not focusing so much, not enjoying life so much, because time, there's a thing in here about guilt, and this is something that my wife, who I bought this book for, she relates to a lot. She said, okay, so I spent an hour watching something on Netflix, and during the pandemic, with people working from home, companies started promoting this. You can go home and watch Netflix, or you can spend time with your family, because downtime will make you more effective. But hang on, Why does any use of time have to make you more effective? More effective for who? Your fucking employer? So early in the morning, try and keep your language clean. Your time is yours. Use it. It doesn't have to be to some given end. And I'm sure there are going to be some, hyper-focused capitalists out there. Oh, that's terrible. This is another point, right? Capitalists can't. Never mind. Let's not get into that discussion. It's a brilliant, brilliant book. Look, it's been 5 minutes, and I haven't actually talked much about, the meat and bones on it. Or actually, I have. It's like there's a big soup, and I picked out the meat for you and said, look, this is what it's about. The idea is to do less, and you'll get more done as a result, which sounds kind of contradictory. You do less, but you do what matters, and you do what matters to you. Simple as that. You can't juggle all the balls. There's some strategies in here. This guy who was a time management expert had a very hard time at this. I don't have a hard time at this. Some people do. Maybe that's because I'm less, conscientious, focused, hardworking, but a lot happier than most people. So here we go. So there's another book I'm listening to at the moment, which is I'll be reviewing that as well. And essentially, anybody who's really, really super hyper successful is single-minded and focused. They only concentrate on one thing, and that's how they get really, really good at it. Now, if they're only concentrating on one thing, that means they don't try to cram every damn thing into their day and do 50 different things by managing their time. No, they just use their time to do what matters, and they pretty much ignore everything else. So there you go. It does seem to work. But I want to take it away from the idea that life is all about chasing success. You're only successful if you earn $1 million or whatever. No, you're successful if you have a good life. And how you define a good life is up to you. And for some people, a good life isn't going to be, defined by money or status or something else. Maybe by well-being, by raising a good family, or you can do more than one thing. But the point is that your time is your own, and it doesn't use it for yourself. It doesn't have to be exchanged just for making money. There's a really good analogy in here. There's lots of good analogies in here. One of the famous studies he refers to, one of the famous examples was by another time management guru. This one's at Harvard University, and he talks about taking a lot of big jars into his class, handing them out to his students. I think he taught an MBA or something, and giving them large rocks, pebbles, and sand, and telling them to put it all into a jar. To me, he said not many people got it right, but maybe this is just one of those stories that's, it's been made up to illustrate a point, but it never really happened. But anyway, it's taken as it really happened. The idea, he said, is to put the big rocks in first, then the little rocks, then the sand. I mean, he couldn't figure that out. If somebody who went to Harvard didn't figure it out, then they're fucking stupid. Trickle down, right? Actually works with sand and pebbles, not with economics, though. And then he says, so what you do is you do the big tasks first, the big pebbles, the big rocks, and then you'll get everything done. Yeah, but who wants to get everything done? Just have less rocks, like just having 2 goals. This didn't challenge my thinking a lot, but it confirmed a lot of what I'd started thinking, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But that's not just because it confirmed what I was thinking. I'm going to read it again, in fact. You can sit down and read. Reading this is a good use of one day, because it will make you use the rest of your days better if you pay heed to what's in here. One of the other things it talks about is procrastinating. People procrastinate because they want to do things perfectly, but you're never going to do anything perfectly, so just get on with it. It's the same with when I talk to people about writing, how do you manage to write a book? How do you do this? Well, it's simple. You sit down at your laptop and you type, or you pick up your pen and paper and you write, but I don't like what I'm writing. Well, then write more of it and you'll like some of it. Strategy he talks about in here, which has been very useful over the last 9 days for me, is the things you want to get done, just do a little bit, but do it every day. Don't try and fill the whole day with it, Say maybe do it for an hour, but do it every day. And that way you stress less, you get more done, and you get consistency, compounding. That definitely works. There's lots of really, really good techniques in here. I thoroughly recommend this book. I give it 10 out of 10. I'm going to read it again. If you read this, you will enjoy life more, be less stressed, get more done if you pay attention to what's in it. I thoroughly believe that overall, not that it matters as the overarching and only goal, but you'll be more successful as well. Success, remember, can be a happy family life. It can be health and fitness. It can be, it's not just numbers in the bank. Although, that does matter as well. But I'm going to have my morning caffeine now. I hope you enjoyed that review. It is 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mortals. That's the full title, by Oliver Burkeman. Best book I've read this year. I can say that honestly because the other two have been audio, so I listened to those. There you go. Hope you enjoyed that.